Ovo su prizori nedavnih razaranja u Hersonskoj oblasti. Očigledno, civilna zdanja našla su se na udaru ukrajinske vojske, koja već više od godinu dana koristi zapadno naoružanje, prvenstveno dalekometne rakete pristigle iz NATO zemalja. Ove slike dokazuju da su i u ovom slučaju Ukrajinci gađali himarsima, što se često zove dejstvom po dubini. Ali glavna tema ove emisije je jedno još dublje i još pogubnije dejstvo, takođe ostvareno u saradnji Ukrajine sa svojim zapadnim pokroviteljima. Sagovornica na tu temu nam je Mira Terada, ruska aktivistkinja i osnivač nevladine organizacije Fondacija za borbu protiv nepravde, koja je došla do zastrašujućih saznanja o zloupotrebi i trgovini decom iz ratom zahvaćenih područja.
Foundation to Battle Injustice that I'm the head of received exclusive evidence of trafficking of disabled children from Ukraine to Spain, from actually Donbas to Spain. So our human rights defenders received several verified documents and testimonies proving the involvement of American and Spanish non-profit organizations, the Ukrainian government and Spanish social services in child trafficking. The information described in the materials is fully confirmed by Polish human rights activist Joanna Pachwicewicz, who has been specializing in protecting childhood and the rights of minors for many, many years, and the president of the Spanish NGO foundation, Madrina Conrada Jimenez Agrela. He also confirmed that. According to our data, in April 2022, under the pretext of protecting minors from a special military operation, the Ukrainian social services transferred to Spain 85 underage students of the Paraskovsky Special General Education Boarding School, number 40, of the Bakhmut or Artyomovsky district of the DPR, many of whom have limited mental abilities and disabilities. At the time of the events, the village was under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces. Now it's under control of Russia. In March 2022, the National Social Service of Ukraine received a letter with a request to transfer Kapradeli up to 100 orphan children living in the immediate vicinity of the military conflict zone to the Spanish organization Kapradeli. According to the text of the letter, the children were offered safe shelter for the duration of the military operation, and after the end, they were to be returned to their homeland. In addition, the organization guaranteed to provide them with all necessary conditions and arrange minors in educational institutions. As early as April 2022, 85 children, along with their governors and caregivers, were flown by the Spanish Air Force through Poland. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that Poland and Spain are 2 out of 5 countries who do not register children, immigrant children, crossing the border. So that way, we actually, you never know how many children cross the border because it never was fixed in the papers. So the Milagros del Corazon organization was also involved in the transfer of minors. The minors were under the care of a citizen of Ukraine. Let's call her Alona. Of course, name is different, who has worked with the difficult children for decades and personally knew every child transported to Spain.
Just if I can ask just one question about Alina. She is in no way associated with either DPR authorities or now there's Russian authorities, right? As I understand.
Well, Alona is a Ukrainian woman, and on top of that, she also actually approached Ukrainian authorities, telling them what is happening in Spain, and they told her not to speak about it publicly because Ukraine and Spain are allies in this conflict, and they don't want to ruin their relationship, which is, to me, is totally bizarre, because since when the children became the prisoners of political ambitions of other countries, because children's interests have to be out of any political interests, have to be out of politics, period. No matter what situation is, countries has to be able to communicate in order to protect children's interests. Anyway, after 2 months, Police Commissioner Patricia Rivas, together with the American NGO Angels, wrote a statement to the Spanish social authorities demanding the transfer of minors to the state custody out of Alena's custody. According to the Solidarity of the Human Rights Defenders of the Foundation to Battle Injustice, this step has launched the process of child trafficking and indicates the active intervention of the United States in the process of illegal transportation, placement, and sale of minors. And I will tell you more about this. The policewoman complained about the alleged bad attitude toward minors and demanded that the state deprive Alena of custody rights and send the children to a children's center located in another city. On July 1st, 2022, the Director of Social Services of the Spanish Autonomous Region of Castile and Leon, Isabel Fernandez Camban, signed a decision to transfer children to the Colegio San Viator School in Valladolid, allegedly because of material conditions and qualified personnel to take care of children with special needs. Alena was deprived of custody, but she was allowed to accompany the children. So according to her, the reason why she was no longer the official guardian of the children was absolutely fake and far-fetched. The responsibility for children was assigned to the non-governmental organization, ASSEM. During the transfer to another boarding school, several children were sent to the United States and Argentina without official permission from the Ukrainian authorities. Presumably, they were the first victims of child trafficking. According to Alena, the 2 months that the children spent in Valladolid were like a madhouse full of numerous facts of violations of children's rights. Only in the first week, 3 cases of poisoning were reported. At least 11 minors suffered from intestinal infection. For several weeks, Alena begged representatives of ASSEM for fans of air conditioners for the children because the temperature regime did not allow children to stay indoors for a long period of time. Taking care of the children with special needs annoyed the Spanish guardianship authorities, and they wrote a slanderous letter addressed to the Ukrainian authorities, who suspended Alena from work without explanation and banned contact with children. A few weeks later, the cleric Father Blas, who heads the Colegio Immaculada de Armenteras school and allegedly collaborates with the ACCEM organization, secured the transfer of minors to his institution. Presumably, it was Father Blas who wanted to commercialize the adoption of children in Spanish and Latin American families. Moreover, he wanted to be paid. He wanted $22,000 for helping him carry out an illegal act that also involved the director of the Castile and Leon Family Affairs Department. After the Colegio Immaculada de Armenteras boarding school, the children were assigned to various residential educational centers, so-called CRAE, on the outskirts of the Spanish city of Valladolid. Centro San Viator, Centro de Enseñanza Safa, and Centro de Zambrana. The latter center, according to Alena, is more like a colony for minors, where they were mainly sent for theft, fights, and violence. There were cases of sexual violence between students, to which the new mentors turned a blind eye. During one of the pupils became pregnant, after which the staff of the boarding school forced her to have an abortion. It's also reported that drugs were distributed in CRAE due to the close proximity of marginal groups of society. According to unconfirmed reports, children were forced to distribute drugs among their peers and also forced to work as couriers. It's the NGO Milagros del Corazon, which carried out the export of children from Ukraine, that sells children. The website of an organization registered in Argentina published photos of Ukrainian children with an offer of accelerated adoption for money. For children with disabilities and special needs, they ask for $18,000, and for healthy ones, many times more. This NGO is also highly likely to rent out minors to pedophiles and other perverts. Like, I have seen all kinds of stuff, you know, because due to my work, I've seen children being sold for the organs. I've seen sold out to the pedophiles. But to give for to rent a child, like on their official website, there is still an ad with the opportunity to temporarily adopt any child you like. Like Milagros del Corazon asked for $3,500 for 3 weeks of a minor stay in the family. So just like psychologically, it's impossible for the child. You stay 3 weeks in one family, 3 in another one. What do they do in those families to those children? I mean, like for 3 weeks, like what is that for? It's not a pet, you know, it's not for the training. And as of June 2023, the location of most of the children from Paraskovskoye Special Comprehensive Boarding School number 40 is still unknown. Our human rights activists of my foundation to battle injustice believe that the students of this educational institution are not only minors taken from DPR to European countries for subsequent resale. This indicates the need to create an international investigation team whose task will include the search for abducted children and their return to their homeland. And like, to our knowledge, only in one region of Spain, there are 250 minors right now. So it's
from DONBASA.
Yes.
250.
Yes.
May I ask you?
In one small region, Castilla.
Yeah. May I ask you, did anyone respond to your pleas? Did anyone offer any help? Anyone from Spain? Anyone from international organizations for the children's protection? Anybody at all?
Well, unfortunately, no, because since April already, I started speaking about this need of creating an international group that will be working on this issue. I offered UNICEF, I sent a letter to UNICEF asking them to do so. So there will be representatives from different countries that it will be based at the UN. Unfortunately, there was no answer from them as usual, and this is why I cannot take this organization seriously any longer, because this issue with the children, it's not only the situation with Donbass, Ukraine, it's all over the world. In every conflict, children are getting missed, you know, kidnapped, sold out for all types of purposes. So we decided to create something similar in Russia. I approached governmental organizations asking them for help to build this international group. We have representatives from other countries who are willing to cooperate on this issue and will be able to work with us. So hopefully, like this group will start working already this year. And I'm praying that we will be able to return at least one life, you know, back, because children is our future, you know, and if there is no children saved, there is no future.
Are there any security concerns regarding individuals who alerted yourself and your organization and public in general about the situation with the kids? I'm specifically thinking about Ukrainian activist Alyona, right, and about the Polish activists. Are there any security concerns about them?
Of course,
they are the whistleblowers to say it like bluntly.
Of course it is, because I'm concerned about Alyona, because the fact that she spoke about this issue in private, you know, and later on all this, we decided to make it public, because without attracting attention to this issue, it's impossible to do anything, and it's impossible to prevent future criminal acts. And of course, we are concerned because she is in Spain, you know, she can be deported because it's the Spain who commits the crime against the child. And if she will get deported, where is she going to be deported to? Ukraine, where she was already told not to speak about it, in order not to ruin relationship between allies Spain and Ukraine. What is ahead of her? So I'm hoping she will make the right decision and, you know, go somewhere where it's safe and where she can actually help to get those children back. And it's always about the security of the whistleblowers. It's always about the security of people who work with this issue, because we don't know specifically who our enemy is in this case, or when you know about it, it's not even better. You know that the Spanish government involved in this, you know that American NGOs involved in it. That means it's always NGO is registered by the state, by the government, you know, so if they are acting, that means they are backed up by the government. So in this case, the enemy is very strong as well, but we know that we are stronger because the truth is with us.
What about the Joanna, the Polish activist? I mean, are you in contact with her? And
Of course, we are in contact. Joanna, Polish activist, but she lives in UK, and she does her work already over 20 years. She is brilliant, and she started doing her work just because she faced similar issue with her own children. So she knows it from the personal experience. And the majority of people who work on this issue usually face something similar in their life. Like we have one partner, and he has an NGO that works in Europe, and he's Indian, and he was kidnapped when he was a child and sold to Germany. So he grew up there, and he was looking for his biological parents for 17 years, because back then there was no internet, cell phones. That's why it took him so long. But he was growing up, he was studying, he was learning more and more about this issue. And he created an NGO that now is helping many families to reunite when children are just taken away and sold out. So yes, all these people, they completely dedicate their lives toward this issue that they're working on, that we are all working on. And they know the risk of it, but they still go and work because they also know that they're doing the right thing. I know for sure it won't be even speculation, because I work on this issue for quite a while, and I know for sure that the only one motive is ahead of these people. It's money. It's always about money, because it's a pure child trafficking. But the reasons why they sell, who they sell those children to, there's so many reasons. They sell those children, well, first of all, it's for money, you know, to organizations, because sometimes those children remain at the NGOs or organizations where they just hold those children, you know. And there are also, they sell those children to the parents. You know, sometimes parents are aware where the child is from, sometimes not, because when sometimes this adoption is legal and sometimes illegal, and then we have questions why this adoption is illegal. What's wrong with those parents who cannot get children in a legal way? And it's, of course, child pornography, it's prostitution. There were so many scandals in Belgium, Netherlands, where even like a king family, one journalist, Sonja van den Enden from Netherlands, told me was involved in child prostitution. And then it's, of course, slave work. It's involvement in different criminal schemes like drug trafficking. And also you would see in some country how children beg for money on the streets. It's also involvement in the criminal scheme. Sexual rings. There's also new ways of children exploitation, like online, behind the camera, you know, whatever those children do behind the camera as well. So right now, it's just so many ways how those children can be exploited and used by people that those children are in hands of. But in whichever way you would look at it, it's never good.
Kada se sve ovo ima u vidu, valjda je jasnije zbog čega sam nedavno na putu za Bahmut u mesto Prvomajskoje, koje je prošle godine pretrpelo velika razaranja, zatekao dva dečaka kako pozdravljaju rusku vojsku koja se kreće ka frontu.
вы, вас два местные, а?
Да.
Сколько лет у тебя?
14.
У тебя?
11.
11. Как зовут вас?
Дима.
Тимофей.
А почему вы с этими флагами, а?
Поддерживаем боевой дух.
Ага.